Hello and a warm welcome to everyone joining us today. I'm your host Dalvinder Kaur from lovely Professional University. Let's dive into today's topic, Introduction to Visual Effects, VFX, from imagination to screen. Before we proceed further, allow me to introduce the experts of the day, Mr. Log Bahadur, motion graphics VFX artist with 8 plus years of experience, 4 in freelancing and 4 in academia, skilled in graphic design, motion graphics, video editing, and visual effects and more. He excels at crafting compelling visual content for educational and commercial platforms through storytelling. So now I would like to introduce Dr. Hardeep Singh also in this webinar. He is Assistant Professor, HOD, School of Multimedia, Lovely Professional University. He holds multiple patents and has authored a book in the domain reflecting his blend of creativity and academia rigor. Dr. Hardeep continues to shape the future of animation and education through research, innovation, and more. Before we proceed further in today's session, I would like to request everyone for any questions you can write in the chat box or in the Q&A box, and same will be addressed from my side in the end of this webinar. Now I'm going to hand over this session to our experts, Mr. Lok Bahadur and Dr. Hardeep Singh, and it would be an absolute delight to listen from them. Over to you both.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity. And should we start, ma'am? Should
Yes,
we
yes,
start? Okay.
yes.
So, hello everyone. So, welcome in our session. So, today's session is very interesting session. If I'm talking about our topic, the topic is very unique topic. Topic name is Introduction to Visual Effects. Visual Effects means VFX, and VFX means imagination. Means you will have to think, and then you have to think, and then you will have to create. Means you will have to visualize, and then you have to create. So if I'm talking about the VFX, so VFX is a totally based on a one pipeline. So what is a pipeline? First of all, we should know about the pipeline. If I'm talking about the pipeline means if I'm talking about the chapati, food making process. So if I will ask to anyone, if for example, if I will ask to my mom, ki mom, so could you tell me about the how I can prepare the chapati? So first of all, what she will do, she will tell to me ki first of all, you will have to take the flour and then you have to add the water and then you have to make the dough, and after that you have to make the small balls, and then you have to use the roller pin, and then you have to switch on the flame, and then you have to make the chapati and make or prepare the chapati. So this is a pipeline. So now you can think that ki without water is it possible ki then we can prepare a chapati? If I will skip a water or any, if I will skip a water from this pipeline, so then I'm not able to make a chapati. Same in our VFX, so we need to follow the pipeline. So under the pipeline, we have some steps. First is camera, and then after that we have to shoot, and then we have to store our data, and after store the data, we have to go to the editing table where we have to edit the movie, edit the clip, and after that we need to short our VFX shots, and then we have to send it to the VFX department where we have a sub departments. First is a roto, and second is a paint, and third is a chroma, and then tracking and match moving, and matte painting, 3D department. After that, you will have to compile all these things, and then you have to integrate. Then you have to compile in one file. The file and the process is compositing, and after compositing, then you will have to send to the further process. Mean you will have to send to the editing table where he or she will work on the grading or color correction. After that, they will send into the lab means where the artist will make your print, make your movies print means they will develop your videos. For example, if you want to play for the cinema, or then if you want to play for YouTube and any platform, so then you have to tell to them, and after that they will prepare a print for you, and after that you can play your movie. So this is a pipeline. So if I'm talking about the rotoscopy, first of all, what is rotoscopy? Rotoscopy means you can see here, I'm sitting in front of you, and then you want to change my background. है ना? So then what you have to do, here's my live action background. You can see here. So I have a live action background, so here I'm not able to cut the chroma. So for it you need to use the rotoscopy. Rotoscopy means frame by frame you will have to start from my turban. For example, you want to cut my photograph, my video. First of all you will have to start from my turban, and after that you have to cover my full body, and then frame by frame you will have to cut the video, and after that you have to send into the next department. Next department is paint department. Paint means, for example, I want to jump from here to there. That time I will use the rig. Okay, and then after that you need to remove the rig, and then you need to send into the tracking and match moving part. Tracking and match moving part, so sir will explain you about the tracking and match moving. So then I will tell you the basic introduction of the tracking and match moving. So for example, this is my background, and then you want to place any 3D element. Okay, and then my camera is moving like this type of thing. You can see here I am shooting my UR, this is your camera, and then you are shooting from here to there. You can see here I am moving my camera, I'm rotating my camera, and then you want to place any object. Then you want to replace my face, or you want to replace my background, and then you want to set any 3D object. So that time you need to put the uh, a tracker point, and after that you need to track the background. Next part is match moving. Match moving means you need to match your body. For example, here I am sitting over here, and then I am moving my head from here to there, and then you want to replace my head, a dragon face, any other face, 3D face, and then you need to track my motion. You will have to set my tracking point over here, and after that you need to track my face, and then this is a match moving part. Means you, each and every point you will have to, frame by frame you will have to match your movement. First movement is here, then frame by frame, this frame, this frame, this frame, this frame, this frame, this, and after that you need to collect the data, and then you need to send into the tracking and match moving software, where you will compile the all data, and after that you will easily place your 3D object. Okay, so this is a simple pipeline. So now I would like to request to Mr. Lok Bahadur sir. He's a motion graphics and VFX artist. So sir, over to you.
Thank you, sir. A very warm good afternoon to everyone here in the session. My name is Lok Bahadur, and let me simply dive into a particular presentation. So, starting with the name of the topic, that is the introduction to visual effects, right? The very first word, if you look at it for the VFX, that is the visuals, right? Where we basically work on the visuals only, right? That how or what kind of visuals do we have to create? How can we enhance the visuals, right? Basically, you might have seen some action-packed movies, or even if the movie is not based on some action or it's a documentary, right? At some point, you might have never realized, right, that some kind of VFX, some kind of chroma, some kind of CGI was involved, right? Because the artists sitting in the studio have done their work, have performed their particular task in an excellent way. That's why you were not able to understand or not able to notice that something was created here, something which didn't exist in the real world, but still you were able to see in your particular screens. So, starting with my topic, that is the introduction to visual effects, we all will be discussing about what is VFX, why it is used, what kind of tools can we use for VFX, what are the job opportunities, right? What are the career opportunities which we can create out of this particular world, VFX world. So, starting with the VFX, if I talk in a layman's language, right? In a basic definition for VFX could be that when we combine live action footage with CGI, right? Let's suppose you are shooting something. Right now you can see that sir is having a neat background. But what if my particular scene, there is a requirement that okay, you have shot this particular scene in a day background, but now I want that the weather condition should be very much dramatic, so I want to add some clouds, I want to add some thunderstorm, I want to add some strong wind, right? But while capturing that particular shot, nothing was available, na? it was shot in a daylight. So how to convert this particular scene so that it matches or with the requirement of your particular story? So that is all what VFX is all about, right? When you keep on adding layers, and you keep on adding visuals to your particular live action footage, your particular shot, your clips, right? The clips which you watch in your particular mobile phones, right? Let's consider them as a shot only, right? So how to enhance that shot, how to make that particular shot more dramatic, right? That is where VFX comes in. And without VFX, no movie can exist. Even I'm not talking about the modern era, but even if I talk about the uh, olden times, right, in the 80s and 90s, when we were not having such advanced computer, when we were not having such advanced softwares also for creating high-end output, but still at that particular time also VFX was being involved, right? There were different kind of techniques which we will be looking at here. So that is a basic definition of what is VFX. When we combine our live action footage or our simple shot with something which didn't exist in the real world by creating it in n number of softwares. It could be After Effects, it could be Nuke, right? So that is how we combine together in VFX. Then we have four different type of visual effects, right? If I talk about the very first one, that is your practical effects. Then we have the CGI, then we have the matte painting, and then we have the compositing part. If we look at these different type of techniques, right, each technique has its own value, has its own purpose. You cannot combine all together, right? What we have to do is we have to first analyze that, okay, what that particular scene is all about, and after that we will look after that how or what kind of VFX we can include in that, right? For example, if I talk about the very first part, that is your practical effects. So this technique is not used in modern days right now. There are some, I could say, directors who still believe in capturing the high-end visuals, like there is Nolan Christopher, where he puts a high amount of budget for capturing high-end visuals, sometimes which can be created through animation, but still he choose this kind of technique for creating the visuals for his particular story, right? The very first is the practical effects. Let's visualize it, that what are they, how they were created in the olden times when there were no high-end computers, we were having just cameras, right? Even for the editing part also, we were not having some computers. We manually used to cut those reels, we manually used to add tape, we used to add glue, join together, right? And think about that at that particular time, when even video editing was not possible through computers, how they were able to generate VFX, right? Let's take a small example. In the next slide, we will be looking at the example of practical effects, how we can create practical effects. Now, if you look at these two images, the very first one, so basically the practical effects were generated by creating an illusion, right? By Now, if you look at this particular visual, this is the camera, this is the set which they have created, and this is how they have showcased. Because at that particular time, there is a possibility that the person might be having a fear of height, or the person is not able to perform that particular stunt. So in that particular case, it is very much important to take care of your artist and try to find a substitute of that particular shot, because that shot is required for your movie. It cannot be ignored, right? But how to capture that? So that is how where this particular particle effects practical effects came into existence, where they used to create small miniature sets, and they would place the camera, and they would place the objects in front or behind each other. They would play with the proportions in such a way that when placed perfectly, they would create an illusion that, okay, they are not separate objects, they are in a particular scene. Because if I look at this particular shot, you can see in the final result, it looks like that he is sitting in the library, or there is some height here, right? He could fall down from that particular part. Same is for this particular shot also, where they have created one small set and placed it in such a way that when the camera is placed in this particular angle, it creates an illusion that this particular person is being hanged in a tall building, and there is a possibility that he could fall down anytime. So it is creating a sense of risk, right? When audience is going to watch the final output, that okay, how that could be possible, he might fall down, right? So that emotion has been created using this particular technique. So it's all about that. If you are thinking about something that okay, I want to do this, never try to give up just because you don't have particular tools for it. Always try to look for a substitute. Everything is possible here, right? All you have to do is you have to just find a substitute which comes under your own budget, or which comes under your own flexibility or your availability, whatever resources are available to you. Try to create the best out of it. Same thing has been done here, right? Again, there is a possibility that this particular actor, he or she, right, might be having a fear that okay, I can't, climb on a tall building, and then you're asking me to fall down, right? They might have ignored this particular demand, but the director has always a second option for that particular thing, that okay, if this thing goes wrong, we can substitute this thing with this particular VFX technique. If they are aware about, if you are aware about the techniques which are available, right, then you can always choose the best option which is there for you. Because there is a possibility that okay, you are having a good idea, you are having a good script, but you are not able to get that particular machines with you, because the artists which you are going to involve, they might be charging you high price. So you can look for some substitute options also for creating same VFX using this particular technique, that is the practical effects. In modern days also we are using this particular technique. Sometimes we are using the miniature sets, right? For the Titanic also, uh, there was one particular shot in which the Titanic was drowning down. So that shot couldn't be recreated by taking a real ship into the ocean and making it drown down, right? No, that is not possible. That is what a director will always refuse. That okay, my budget will go on. It will, you know, move my budget. So let's find for a substitute for it. So in that particular thing, this particular VFX technique can be very much helpful, because what they have done is they have created some miniature set of that particular ship. Use even that particular shot was shot under a bathtub also, right? It is all about how you're going to prepare your shot, how you are going to place your objects, and how you are going to place your camera also, because in this particular shot also, camera placement is very much important to create the illusion, right? That was something which we were using in the older times. Now jumping back to the modern area, modern era, that how VFX has transformed now. So in the very next slide we are going to discuss about it, that is the CGI. You might have heard this term very often. Nowadays, this particular term is being taken by many of the artists here when they are, you know, discussing about it, that okay, the CGI of this film was very poor, or the CGI of this particular film was very good. We should also adopt the same techniques also, right? So in the previous slide, if I go back, then you can see that we have created some sets here. We have placed those objects, creating an illusion, right? But in the second technique, that is your CGI, computer generated image. So what we are basically doing is we are adding some objects into our live action footage. Again, I'm repeating this thing. VFX means combining live action with CGI. In this particular shot, you can see there is artist standing here, right? This shot has been taken in a room, but when you see the final output, it looks like he has in some forest area, or has gone into some rare kingdom, right? Now how that thing has been created, we will be viewing that also. Now All these objects which you are looking here, right? They all have been generated using the computer software. It could be Max, it could be Maya, right? Animated texture, all have been done in the software only, and then they have been placed here in this particular scene. So now you can see the major difference. If I click here and have a quick preview of this footage. Now as you can see, except our artist, right? Nothing in this particular shot is real. You can see this particular artist, only he is alive. Rest all the things have been created using the software only. That is what CGI is all about, where we create all the 3D objects, try to place it in the live action footage. One of the good example for CGI could be Jurassic Park. I would say many of you have seen that movie, and I'm a big fan of that movie. I'm talking about the very first part. So, in the beginning of the shooting of that particular movie, when the director started with the movie, he came with a concept, we will be creating a movie about dinosaurs. And he came to an idea, okay, so let's start creating a dinosaur using some mechanism. So he hired some mechanics, right? Some engineers who had worked for him. They have created a robot, right? Basically, I would say they were robots only, who were then textured using some, materials and given a layer of skin on that particular robots, right? 40 to 50% of that movie was completely shot using those robots only. But when he came to know about this particular technique, that okay, now we can create some computer generated image and combine it with the live action footage, he wanted to test it, because the robots which he had captured, right, he knew the result was good, the result was fine, but he again wanted to test this something new when he was introduced with this particular technology. And he was so much surprised and he was so much excited that the rest of the movie was shot using the CGI only. So most of the shots which you are looking of in that particular movie, in which that there are dinosaurs, most of them are quite real. Not real dinosaurs, but they are actually real robots. But after that, everything was CGI, because CGI gives you a more flexible options. Because when you are going to create a robot, you have to look after the mechanism, right? It has some limitations. It will move his or her neck, it will move his or her tail in certain angle, in certain way, in certain direction. But when you are going to create the same dinosaur using the software, then you have the flexibility to create anything out of it, right? You can make him dance, you can make him jump, whatever you want to do, right? That is the power of CGI. So it is widely used in modern era also, right? We are using it in an excessive way in each and every film nowadays. Even if you look at any kind of, I would say, web series also, even for a 30-second ad or a 10-second ad which you are looking at, right? They have also got some CGI into it, they also have VFX into it. So that is how widely this industry is spread, right? And nothing can exist in today's world. I'm talking about the digital media without VFX. It is that much, crazy thing. And now coming up with the another technique, right? Now one thing which we are very clear that okay, this particular things have been created using some 3D object. Like this is a 3D model. All these are 3D models which have been textured, right? Now this is one thing. Now, is there any other technique also for creating VFX? So let's jump into it. Matte painting. So you might have heard this word in the very beginning of the session when Dr. Hardeep sir has introduced with the webinar, right? And he has talked about this particular technique, that is the matte painting. right? It is somehow similar to the practical effects only, but this thing has been done totally digitally. In practical effects, what we used to do is we generally create some sets. We used to generally place the objects in front of each other to create depth, and then we used to place the camera in such a way that it would create an illusion out of it, right? Same thing has been followed here, but here everything is done digitally. Nothing has to be done practically, not in real world at least. All things have been done, have been created using the software, and somehow it is similar to CGI, but in CGI we are using the 3D objects. But in matte painting, what we are doing is we are generating some mattes, or in simple language, I would say that we are importing some images, refining them, adjusting them, right, manipulating them in such a way that they would again create a scene out of it. In many movies you might have not even noticed. If you are watching a movie of I would say, let's take an example of the period film. If you are watching a movie of 70s, 60s, right, while showing the environment of the city, you might have observed you won't see any modern uh, buildings, you won't see any modern cars, you won't see any modern towers also there, right? They all can be replaced using this particular technique, that is a matte painting. So let me give you a brief introduction of it, that how it actually visualize, how can we visualize it.
Sir, if I'm talking about the modern eras movie, na, so especially if I'm talking about the sir, last time we were discussing about when we are discussing about the movie, so then Bahubali is the best example
Yes
of
sir.
matte painting. So then soon you can, when you watch a movie, na, so then you will visualize that if they have used the totally 2D images, matte painting.
Yes, sir, exactly. And no one would have thought, okay, how we can create, take a simple image, combine them together, and create a world out of it, right? As now we can see the visuals of this particular shot. Now you can see, now all these are just images only. As you can see, this is one single image, right? And if you look at the proportion of this particular image, again, to create a new world, they are going to use more number of images. They are going to combine them in such a way that it will completely fill this artboard. Now you can see this particular portion has been created separately, or this is a separate image. This subject has been created separately. The snow, the mountains. Now all these mountains, they are just images, they are not 3D objects, nothing, or they are not even some videos also. They are just your 2D images, but they have been manipulated in such a way that it is looking so realistic right now only, while there is no color correction being done, but still it is looking so realistic. Same for these kind of buildings. So you might have gotten, I would say, not a rough idea, but you might have now recognized that what is matte painting and how it is created, just using the simple images only, right? And that is something crazy you can create out of. You can create your own world. There is no limitation to it, right? When we are talking about the VFX, you can create anything. You can do whatever you feel like, whatever I could say, even if the thought is very much notorious also. uh, the thought or the visuals you are having in your mind, they don't exist in real world. You can create that also. If I take the example of the Game of Thrones, right, how can you create dragons? How can you create such an environment of that particular kingdom in real life, right? That can be created if you have plenty of money, right? and you are ready to spend that much of amount of money in creating these sets only. But you know, if you have that much of amount of money and still you're ready to spend just one fourth of it, you can do all the same things in matte painting also by using the CGI technique also, right? This is how crazy VFX is. I'm so much in love with these things, right? So next we have composting, right? Hadeep sir in the starting of the session, Dr. Hadeep sir in the starting of the session has told you about what is composting, right? He has told you about different kind of techniques which is involved in composing, because in the very beginning you have seen the practical effects also, you have gone through the CGI. Now we have discussed about what is matte painting, but along with that, there are a number of techniques for creating a compositing, right? For creating visuals, right? For creating the VFX which you want for a particular shot. So in the next particular technique, that is your compositing, we are going to discuss about the different methods for creating a scene out of it, right? It will be a short video, but you will get a glimpse of what actually VFX is, how powerful it is, what you can create, right? A good VFX artist, if he or she has done his or work, very well with honesty, then no one could judge that what is there in the video. They will never notice what work has been done if you're good at it. But if you're not, everyone see, okay, I could see the building was moving but the background was not moving, right? The blast was fake, right? That can be done only when a person in the studio has not done his or her work with honesty, right? But if you are honest with your work, then you can create visuals like this, which we are going to see in the next slide. Now, this particular thing is the composting, where we combine different visual elements all together, right? And this thing, we can add the CGI also, we can add the matte painting also. We have other techniques which Dr. Hadeep sir has already discussed with us. That is your rotoscopy, that is your camera movement, that is your camera matching, match, move, everything can be seen here, and we will be discussing about the same.
Uh, Sir, I want to add one more point. If I'm talking
Yes,
about
sir.
the VFX, not only for VFX but also for 2D, 3D animation. So, students, you should work on three things. One is creativity, second is statistical skills, third is visualization. If you have three things, you can work for VFX, 2D, 3D, 2D, 3D, and gaming also. So, if I'm cutting in creativity, decision power, and your thinking means these are connecting with each other. So first of all, so how you can visualize? So how you can visualize? So first of all, you need to watch the movies, VFX movies. So then you should watch, and after that you should note down the effects. You should note down the matte painting, roto tracking, match moving, rotomation, match mission. Okay. So and after that you should analyze how they have used the rotoscopy, where they have used the rotoscopy, and why they have used the composting, how they have used the compositing. ठीक है हाँ जी sir, continue.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so let's watch this video and then you'll get to know that how wide this particular industry is, right? How many techniques are there, what kind of things, or I would say not particular things, I would say what kind of magic you can create on screen, right? You you're just going to have a glimpse because there is so much more, but I'm very much limited to the time and there's a lot of things to show, but you will get the idea from this particular video.
You can see here. So then how the artist, director, VFX supervisor has thought the idea and how they have implemented on the video. You can see here. This is totally depends on visualization, statistical skills and creativity. You can see here.
So till now, whatever you have seen, right? He has given you a glimpse that what is rotoscopy. He has given you a little idea about what is keying, that is your chroma removal. How can you remove the chroma and add another objects to your background and create a scene out of it. How you can add a CGI. Now you can see this is again a computer generated image, right? A 3D model, and how can you combine it with your particular live action footage? How can you do the 2D tracking, right? That is all what he has told you, what he has showcased you, what you have observed. But any of you can have a rough idea that the VFX which he's talking about has actually started from the very beginning of the video only, but we never observed it. Something strange, no? So that is what we are going to again look at it. That what he has told, right? We have got it, but what he has not told, and we have never observed or never thought of that. Okay, that can be also fake. That is also VFX. So let's have idea.
Now, if I'm talking about the VFX, we were talking about the rotoscopy paint, tracking and match moving, rotomation, matte mission. So then, if I'm talking about
Yes,
the
sir.
students, they're totally new for this technique, how they can learn
Yes,
about
sir.
it. So then, according to me, they can go to the YouTube and after that, they can search over there. For example, if I'm talking about the Zero movie, so then you can search on
Yes, sir.
YouTube Zero movie VFX making, then you can search over there and then you will get the idea about the roto, paint, tracking and match moving. These are the technical words. So then you can easily learn from the VFX.
Yes, sir. Completely. Because
VFX
there are so many things in
composition.
VFX.
Simply just you need to type you need to open the Google and then YouTube, and after that you need to type the VFX making, Zero movie making, Bag Milkha Bag making, VFX making, behind the scene. Then you can type, and after that you will get the full idea, not only for VFX but also for on the set.
Sure. Okay. So let's just have a quick glimpse of it. So now you might have get an idea that if the artist is doing his or her job well, then you never notice what details he or she has added to the particular scene. That is what VFX is all about, right? And it's basically all about how creative you are, how you think differently from one another person, right? If one is thinking about a particular topic, how unique can you think about the same topic? How you can be different, right? That is all what creativity is all about. It takes time, but you don't have to limit yourself for that, right? So coming to next, uh, we are going to talk about how why it is so important, because there are so many things while capturing. Because let's suppose I'm thinking of a process, I'm thinking of a shot in which I want there should be a blast in the room. In real I can't do that blast, right? Because it involves so many artists, it involves so many people there who are behind these cameras also, right? It's not just the artists, it's people who are behind the cameras also, their lives are also in risk. If I ever thought of this particular idea that okay, let's blast this room in real, right? So there are certain circumstances which we have to avoid, and that can be covered up using the VFX only. You have to create a blast effect, you want to create the shake effect, right? You want to showcase that okay, right now earthquake is coming, right? There is a asteroid coming, there is an alien attack, which in real life we don't see usually, right? Till now we are not seeing it usually, but you never know what AI can do for us. But still, there are so many things which can be replaced using the VFX. It could for the film and the media which you are looking at. Sometimes the train is not moving, sometimes even the car is not moving, sometimes the car chase scene which you are looking, which is hitting each other, sometimes they are also fake. There is no even a real car. Sometimes all you do is you make a person sit on a chair, and rest the VFX artist does his job. That he will add a car into it, he will add some effects, he will add some lighting into it, and make it look like that it's moving. It is running on the road. It is chasing someone. It is getting hit by different vehicles. That is why it is very much important in film and media, right? Then again, coming back to the VFX process, which Dr. Hadeep sir has also told us about, that we have to go through different phases. We have to follow up a pipeline. Before creating anything, you never jump directly into your PC. That okay, I'm thinking of this thing, uh, I have captured it. Okay, now I'm going to add some visuals into it. No, it never happens like this. There's a pipeline which you have to follow, and whenever you are going to skip a pipeline, then there will be some problem in your final output for sure, right? If you are not following the pipeline, you won't be getting your desired results, right? So starting with the pre-production process, that is where you do the idea generation. That okay, what kind of shot I'm planning, right? Okay, I want to, my story is having this particular requirement for this scene, so I have to shot this scene in such a way. After that, we do the storyboarding also, where we get a visual idea that how this particular scene will work, how we have to capture it. And in modern days, it is being, I would say, digitalized so much that in today's storyboarding, you can also add the type of camera lenses which is going to involve in that particular shot, which somehow will ease the work of the cinematographer while he's shooting. Because while looking at the storyboard, he will get an idea. Okay, I want to capture this shot. To capture this shot, I have to take the low angle. Okay, what kind of shot it is, it is close up, it is mid shot, so I will be choosing the lens also. So it will really help him out, and not just for the cameraman, but all the other artists also. Even the, if there is actors are involved, they will also get to know that okay, I have to jump in certain way, I have to move in certain way, I have to act in certain way. That all thing can be done only if you have done your pre-production very strongly. If you're going to skip this particular part, then you are going to face a major problem in your final output. Forget about the final output. You want proceed to the your next stage, that is your production phase, where we have, in the initial stage, we have decided okay, this is my thought process, I have visualized it, I have created a storyboard. Now, after my completing with the pre-production phase, I've decided okay, this is the technique which I'm going to follow. Now I want that okay, there should be a dragon behind me. So I have decided that okay, that can be done through chroma. I will be shooting myself in chroma, or the green screen, or the blue screen, right? That is your production part, where you are going to take action on your ideas which you have done or which you have created in your pre-production phase. Once you have completed with your shooting, once you have completed all, followed up all the techniques which are required for that particular shot, then comes your final stage, that is your post production part, where you actually going to combine all those things together. You are going to bring your footage, you are going to remove your background, you are going to remove the chroma, add some objects. By again, you are going to do the composing using the matte painting technique, or you are going to use the CGI, whatever you are going to do. That has to be done in this particular final stage, that is your post production phase. Sometimes while shooting, there is a possibility that we have missed out something, or there are some errors in that particular shot. That can also be corrected in the post production. We need not to run back to the production phase that okay, this particular shot, there was a problem, there was a car coming, right? We didn't want to have that kind of car, but it's still in the shot. No, we need not to shoot it back. That thing can also be done in the post production phase only, where we decide okay, these are some problems which we are facing in the footage, and that can be corrected in this particular phase only, where we combine together, we work on it, right? That is your final stage.
And sir, look about sir, I want to add one more point. If I'm talking about the softwares, na, so then you were already explaining about the softwares, Nuke software, and then Nuke for compositing. Student, if you want to, you can note down if you want to work on VFX. So then you should know about the softwares. So number one is VFX software. VFX is the powerful software for the VFX. VFX means compositing, and there's tracking for track and match movie. Then you can use it for 2D tracking. You can use Noka Pro, and for 3D tracking you can use 3D equalizer, PF tracker, and Synthai and match move. And then for Roto you can use Sirut software or Assist. So I want to add one more point. So don't think about the software. So before software, you should work on your ideas, concept, means artistical skills. If I'm talking about the software, you can easily learn from the website. So you can just simply you can go to the software's website and then you can learn. But the main thing is creativity. How you can develop your creativity. How you can work on creativity through tools. Tools can't do anything. So how you can do with the help of creativity and tools. And sir, continue.
Very well said, sir. Very well said. Because I would say that tools are completely useless if you don't know how to use them, right? If if I'm going to take a stethoscope and put it on my neck and call myself doctor, I can't be a doctor, right? For that, I have to go through the basic process. So tools are secondary. First, you have to work on your creativity, your visualization. You have to see if you're coming into this line, na, you have to think different. That is the very first requirement, that you don't have to be a regular person. You have to think differently. You have to look at things differently. You have to keep on observing. Observation is a key in our particular line, we say, right? If you are not good at observing, then you might not be good at creativity also, because the more you observe, the more ideas you will generate, right? And the ideas actually come from the general observation which we do from a day-to-day life only. So that is, I think, a very important and great point which Dr. Hadeep sir has highlighted. Thank you, sir, for highlighting that. Now,
Thank you,
coming
sir.
back to
Thank you.
our again our part, that is the somewhere emerging technologies. You might be very much familiar about what is green screen, what is blue screen, right? These two colors we have already seen, but along with that, we are actually adding more into the VFX world. There are now more number of techniques. There is now AR, VR also. We are including AR and VR also for AR. Now, usually you all know what is a green screen, how a green screen works. But nowadays, it has been, extended to such a level that now you can create on the sets in real life. That is your CGI or a 2D, a 3D generated images, which you can create in the real life only, real life set. While that actor is performing, he can live into that movement, right? because there are some screens being placed around him, and the camera moves around that particular object, and all the rendering is being done in real time only. That is the next level of the VFX which we are going through, and I don't know what more we can see in the coming years with the introduction of AI also, right? Because it is no doubt adding so much into this VFX world. There are many new techniques which are being introduced. Uh, you might be familiar with the blue and green screen, but nowadays they are using the white screen also. Again, a very conceptual thing. We will not get into it, but that is uh, when you come to know that why we are using white also, where it is used, how it is used, right? That is one of the great next level things which you will be learning, right? Then we are talking about the career opportunities in VFX, right? See,
Sir, I think that,
in
this is a vital for our students.
yes, it is very much there because everyone have came here to create a good career, right? To grab some opportunities, and in this particular line, which I feel, I'm not saying that the other fields are not that good. They are also good again, but in multimedia, in animation, VFX, you have n number of opportunities, right? If you are going to go through any, let's say, XYZ course, then you are going to be a special person. You are going to perform a specific task only. But if you are going to be a multimedia student, then you have n number of options which you cannot even think of. There are so many career opportunities in this particular field, which I have not seen in any other field. Right? This option is given in our particular field only. That when you are going to come into the multimedia, you can be anything. You can be a video editor, you can be a web designer, you can be a sound designer, you can be a VFX artist, 3D modeling. There are so many job opportunities, right? But to grab those opportunities, again, the very important thing is your skill is what really matters. It's not that okay, I have learned this, I know few terms, I know few tools of this particular software, so I will be getting the job. No, that is not the case. You need to have the skill to get that job. You need to have the skill to get that opportunity, right? So creating skill is another thing. Again, it will come with the creative part only, that the more creative you are, right, the more skills you will be generating with passage of time. But it takes time, but it takes efforts also, and that effort has to be put by your side. How creatively you are, you have to be very much passionate about this. If right now I'm talking about the VFX, from the very beginning of my college days only, I was very much passionate, and till date I'm very much passionate. I'm feeling so excited to share all these things with you, that we have any number of opportunities in in multimedia, in VFX also. It's not that you are going to be a person who is going to do multiple jobs. There are multiple roles out of this particular field also for VFX also. You can be a compositor, you can be a 3D modeler also, you can be a match moving artist, you can be a rotoscopy artist. So there are a number of options. Again, coming back to the jobs and opportunities which we have already discussed, so there is no limitation to it. It's only that what kind of skill you are getting through. Some are really good at composing, while some are very good at 3D modeling, while some are very good with 2D digital art, so they can go for the matte painting artists also, right? So there are a number of opportunities which you can go through. There are a number of jobs, but to grab all these, you need to have a good portfolio, right? That is what we are discussing here from the very long time. That portfolio is very much important because if I talk about 10 to 12 years back, the scenario was quite different. We were not having that much access to these opportunities. We used to rush to different offices and showcase our work. But nowadays, you have got so many things, you have got so many platforms where you can showcase your work, and Many of our students recently, they have got placed, they are getting job opportunities, right? Just by sitting at their home, just by uploading their portfolios, and they are not going anywhere. They are not going to any doorstep of any kind of office. They are just sitting here uploading their work, and companies are now approaching them, and they are getting very good package into it also for sure, right? So that can be done only if you have a good skill. But along with that good skill, you are let's think that okay, you're a good artist, but you are not uploading your work. Then what's the fun of it? Show the world your work, whatever you are creating, right? In photography, we say that the first 10,000 clicks, they are always considered as the immature clicks only. You can think of the number, that 10,000 clicks. That is not a short number. That is a very big number. But still, they are considered as a immature shots only. Then only you try to learn. And if you are able to learn, if you are able to create something, always try to keep on adding it to your portfolio. Always have a graph that okay, how your work particular was in the last year and how it is now. So that has to be done, uh, by creating some skills, by always creating some creative outputs and uploading it to your portfolios, right? So that was all from my side. If you have any questions, any doubt, I'm open to all, right? Dr. Hardeep sir is also there. So if anyone is having any kind of doubt, please do let me know.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lok Bahadur and Dr. Hardeep Singh.